Jacksonville will be traveling to Buffalo this week. Coach, who you got?
Oh, gosh. Well, two good defenses. I'm going to go. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going with Jacksonville. I think their defense is going to outperform Buffalo's.
I'm going with Jacksonville also. And the reason I'm going with Jacksonville is because it's the first time we saw them play 3 strong quarters on defense against the Steelers last week. Tough game, end up losing that game, but we saw effort. We finally saw some effort. I think Jacksonville goes to Buffalo, and I agree with you, Coach. I think the Jags pull off a win. Cleveland will be traveling up to Cincinnati this week. Coach, who do you got?
I'm going Cincinnati at home. I think veteran quarterback versus the rookie quarterback. I hear A.J. Green's coming back. Him healthy will make a big difference. I'm going Cincinnati.
This is a much better team with A.J. Green in the lineup, and we all know that. Just a great football player. But Andy Dalton hasn't really found that rhythm just yet with Tyler Boyd. I think they get back on rhythm at home. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. Both Coach and I are rolling with the Bengals. The Pats are just coming off a bye week. They're traveling up to the New York Jets. Coach, who you got?
No doubt the New England Patriots. I think, getting Rob Gronkowski healthy, I think he'll be back in the lineup. Again, I think they're just too much offensively for the Jets to handle, and I think it's going to be pretty decisive.
Yeah, and we know how the Patriots react after a bye week. They usually come back strong. Tom Brady gets some rest. Julian Edelman gets some rest. They get back on track. Pats win this game. We both agree on that one. New York Giants put together 2 big wins. Philadelphia Eagles, Coach, they've lost 2 games. Who you winning? Who you picking in this game?
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, at home. I think even with the banged-up secondary, I like the Eagles' defense and how they match up against the Giants. I'm going with the Eagles at home.
I saw a lot last week. The Eagles just got rolled in New Orleans last week, but they still played hard. They go back home. That defensive line finds a way to get after Eli Manning. I think Philadelphia finds a way to win this game, but it's going to be in the 4th quarter. We're both in agreement. Philadelphia Eagles win this one. San Francisco 49ers will be traveling across country to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coach, who you rolling with?
Yeah, this one was tough, but eventually is going to go with Tampa Bay.
Tough? What's tough about this?
Well, because they're just contrasting a little bit. I like San Francisco's defense, not very much on Tampa Bay, but their offense is pretty explosive. #1 offensive football team in the league right now, Tampa Bay. So I think at home, I think the travel concept of San Francisco coming out there, I think is tough. Maybe a little humidity. So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think, in a close, hard-fought ball game.
I think it's going to be a close game, hard-fought game. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense has just given up a ton of points. Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco 49ers come to town. For some reason, I'm thinking the San Francisco 49ers put up at least 30 in this game. They win this game on the road. We totally disagree on this one. I'm going with the 49ers. Coach is going with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Seattle Seahawks will be traveling across country, Coach, to your old digs.
Yes.
Carolina Panthers. Who do you have winning this game, Coach?
I got Carolina at home. The travel is going to be a big factor, but it's going to come down to what I think is going to be the passing game. And Cam struggled last week. They moved the ball a lot, but they didn't score enough points. They've got to get better in the red area. I think they'll work at that. Coach Rivera will have them rolling there in the red area this week. I'm going with Carolina at home.
It's going to be a physical game. And you look at Seattle, they played in a lot of physical games. They go to Carolina, which these 2 teams, they love to run the football. They like to, their identities are run the ball, control the line of scrimmage. I think Carolina gets back on track. Ron Rivera has that speech after the game this past week saying, hey, we got to get back to who we are. They find a way to get back on track. Both Coach and I agree. Carolina Panthers win this one. Lamar Jackson will get his 2nd start of the season this game. Oakland travels to Baltimore. Coach, who do you have?
I got Baltimore, and I got Baltimore because of that defense. And Lamar Jackson, I really liked what he did a week ago with being able to run the ball, having some of those college-style runs. I think it's going to be beneficial to help that defense and keep them off the field. But I like Baltimore at home because of that defense.
I agree. I think this Baltimore defense is going to be playing lights out this week. And Oakland, they cannot consistently move the ball down the field, and they can't manage long drives. Baltimore Ravens at home win this game. Both Coach and I agree. The Chargers losing a close one in Denver last week. The Arizona Cardinals are coming to town. Coach, who do you have?
I got the Los Angeles Chargers. And Basically, the Josh Rosen, Phillip Rivers matchup, I like Phillip Rivers. I think the Chargers will rebound off of that. I think they're a very, very talented football team. A little bit of a letdown last week, and I think they answer the bell this week.
I think it's going to be about this Chargers defense this week. I think they really step up and find a way to get those stops against a young rookie quarterback in Josh Rosen. I think the Chargers, again, big points in the fourth quarter. They'll find a way to win this football game. Both Coach and I are on the Chargers. Both the Steelers and Broncos coming off of impressive wins this past week. Pittsburgh travels to Denver. Who do you have, Coach?
Oh, this was a tough one. I think playing in Denver is always hard.
Yep.
I just think I'm going to pick the Steelers, and the reason is they just got so much firepower. Their defense is coming on. They move up to 6th in the league. But it is a tough place to play. I think it's going to be a close ball game, but I'm taking the Steelers.
I agree, Coach. It's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to who's going to make the play at the end of the game. And I'm rolling with Ben Roethlisberger to make that play in the game. And let's give a lot of credit to Mike Tomlin and their staff. They've really bounced back from some dysfunction early in the season. I think the Steelers, both Coach and I agree, the Steelers end up winning this game. Ryan Tannehill was making his first start in 5 weeks. Coach, the Dolphins are traveling to Indy. Who do you have?
I'm going with Indy. Andrew Luck, a lot of talk about him early, no arm strength, this, that, and the other. And, I think people forgot how good Andrew Luck is.
Yes.
He's got T.Y. Hilton healthy now.
I was one.
They've connected well. Even though it's Ryan Tannehill's first game back in 5 weeks, I still like Indy in Indianapolis.
I agree. I was right there. I was on the bandwagon saying that Andrew Luck was done. I mean, there was nothing positive coming out of Indy, but at the same time, he bounces back. This offensive line is giving him time to throw the ball down the field. I like Indy in this game as well. Indianapolis, Coach and I agree. The Indianapolis Colts win this game. Green Bay Packers haven't played since last Thursday. The Minnesota Vikings are just coming off a tough loss in Chicago. Coach, who do you have? Green Bay going to Minnesota.
NFC North division rival, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. In Minnesota, it's going to be loud. It's going to be tougher on that offense than normal with Green Bay's. I think they respond. Kirk Cousins did not have a good week last week against Chicago. So I look for them to answer back, and I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings.
I agree. I think Kirk Cousins bounces back this week. Adam Thielen becomes a factor. Stephon Diggs with the screen game, the jet sweeps, a little bit of all that. I think they find a way to win this game in the end. Both Coach and I are on the Minnesota Vikings. Tennessee will be in Houston on Monday night. Coach, who do you have?
I like the Houston Texans. After starting 0-3 to win 7 in a row, they're playing good complementary football. A lot of close games.
Yes.
And I think this one might be too. Tennessee has struggled to score points this season. I'm going to, definitely go with the Houston Texans.
I'm going with J.J. Watt in that defense. They're putting some pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They seem like they're getting better and better each week. And then on the back end, Kareem Jackson is having an unbelievable season. We're both riding with the Houston Texans this week. They'll win their 8th straight.